A question to the Prime Minister. No government is so evil that it cannot see the virtue of children. Failure to report sexual abuse used to be a crime. Why are doctors prevented under the government's laws from exposing and reporting sexual and mental abuse of children? Which one of the honourable members of your government would allow their children to suffer such mistreatment? And which one of us would allow our children or grandchildren to be treated as the government treats children in detention? Why is the government imprisoning and radicalising little children at taxpayers' expense?
The Minister for Immigration.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker, and I thank the honourable member for his question. It's a very serious issue that he raises, and he makes reference to a bill that was introduced and passed by this parliament in relation to protecting information that is in particular related to intelligence that we receive from our Five Eyes partners and others that may within our department be accessed or have access to that information of a sensitive nature. And we have brought in a bill, an act which prohibits people from releasing that information, that is information of a secret nature. That's the gist of the bill. The assertion that the honourable member makes in relation to there being some provision within the Act to stop doctors or others from reporting these incidents is completely false and incorrect. There is an obligation on people working, either those who are employed or contracted here within Australian detention centres or on Nauru otherwise. So there is an obligation for people to report those incidents to the police, as they should. And I have instructed my department to make sure that we can do all we can to provide a safe environment. We have, of course, decreased the number of children from 2,000 when Labor was in government down now to less than 100. In fact, the number today stands at 97. Of the 97, 80 of those children are due to go back to Nauru at some point. They've come down because their parents or the children themselves have needed medical assistance and they'll return to Nauru. So that leaves 17 children in detention here in Australia, those that have come by boat, and we are working with those parents, with the agencies, including ASIO, to determine how we might get those children out. But it is difficult in a number of circumstances because there may be an adverse ASIO assessment against the father, for example, and I've made it very clear that that father will not be released into the community whilst that person faces a national security risk to our country. And I think all members in this place would support that stance. I have in those instances said to the mother, for example, that we will allow the release of the mother and the children into the community because we don't have a security concern in relation to the mother or children. In some circumstances, that mother, those parents have taken the decision that the mother and children can be released, and in some circumstances they've decided to remain in detention with the father. Now, we will work through each of those cases because when John Howard left office in 2007, there were no children in detention. As I say, the number peaked to 2,000. It's now down to 97. I want to work that number down to zero, but we have to provide a compassionate system to provide support, and we will do that. The most important aspect is to make sure that we don't allow the boats to restart, because I don't want detention centres to reopen as they did during Labor's time in government.